Hey everybody, welcome to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Gimpy, joined by the one, the only, Chipped Monk. What's up, bro?
What's happening, man?
Nothing much,
I
man.
like the,
Just sipping on the
passion.
little H2O,
Nice, man. I got some energy drink, dude. It's got low carbs in it.
For energy drink, man. I guess you were up watching the fights last night, though, right?
No, I didn't. I went to bed. Everyone was pissed. I was like, why you go to bed all early, dude? We want to play Warzone and watch the fights. And I'm like, yeah, I got to get up, dude. I got things already in the morning. I always feel like they're upset at me, but like if I start hitting them up right now, like 7 a.m. when I got up, they'd be like, bro, like, what are you doing? Yeah, like, it's way too early, bro. Everyone's sleeping. What's your problem, man? It's like, oh, for real? I'm fucking up your sleep schedule? Oh, that's crazy. It's like people have different sleep schedules, man. That's wild.
Fucking shade.
Like they'd be like, not even considerate. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I think it's the usual thing. They just want to have fun, with you. It's like, oh, bro, why you go to bed? Like, I don't know.
I'm old. I got a sleep schedule.
A good chunk of my buddies live in Alaska, so their time zone difference is 3 hours from us, right? I'm like, bro, it's like 2 a.m. here. I'm going to bed. They're like, what the fuck you mean? It's 10 here. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, dude, there's time zones, bro.
Yeah. It's I get it.
The world revolves around us. Yeah, I remember I was talking with the professor once, and I was like, yeah, man, it's snowing out here. I don't really want to like head out there today. He's like, it's not snowing out here, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like that's not how, that's not how snow works, bro. That's not how weather works, man. Just because it's in your area doesn't mean it's everywhere, man.
Snow doesn't exist here.
Yeah, snow's not real, dude. I think you're making things up. It's like, what?
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh shit. So what have you been playing lately, bro?
Haven't been doing too much of anything. I played a little bit at Warzone. I played some Paragon, some of that remake. Was it called like Overprime?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of garbage. It's kind of hot trash. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I played the OG original when Unreal Unleashed it, and it was like a weird card-based power system. And this one, Overprime, is more like a MOBA classic where you buy items and stuff at the beginning instead of like decking out like cards before you even start. It's I don't know. Everything just feels like missing that little bit of like polish.
It's like really early in that game though, right?
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. Like the buttons and everything else. Like when you swing, like it feels like you should be hitting things, but you're like off by like a little bit. Like basically, like the hitbox radius needs to be increased by about like 12%, like on melee combat for it to be any kind of effective. Because right now, I think they have it tied directly to the weapon instead of like a wider swath of a box that like comes out.
Okay. So did this game come back through? Like, did someone buy the rights, or because wasn't it an Epic game? Like, how?
They released all the assets after they were like, we're not doing anything else with this. All the assets are free on the Epic Marketplace right now. You can get them. You can download them. You can use them for whatever you want. It's to help, show you what AAA assets look like, help you develop your own game. Okay. Maybe have like better placeholder art for people who want to build up a quick prototype or something.
Okay.
But some mad lads out there were like, oh, let's just make that game again. Bring it back. And, it was an okay game for the time. People, it was competing with like League of Legends and stuff and Dota. Like it had like a
Smite from the third person aspect.
Yeah. They're like, how can we make a third person MOBA? And they tried. I don't know. Like I'm talking about Epic, not the remake. They tried some interesting ideas. It just kind of didn't have an audience for it at the time, especially it was like at the height of MOBA stuff. So it is what it is, man.
Let me ask you this. Will others back up your opinion on this, or are you doing classic Chip hating?
I think a little bit of me classic hating. I think like if people actually played the original, they might have like some fondness for it. I didn't like the original either. So,
there it is.
It was, it was also free to play, but I don't know. You paid too much with it, even with it being free, man. It's just that amount of time you have to spend on it.
Holy shit, that's some shade.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's
God
I don't know.
damn.
I liked all the behind the scenes stuff for Paragon, the original. They have like a few like I want to say like game developer conferences and stuff where they break down like their pipeline for their workflow going from I think it was like Maya to like Substance to like in-game and engine. And they also did a lot of tooling on the back end for the Unreal Engine to streamline that process. And that pushed Unity to also streamline the process. Both of them, Unity now just has like a asset package manager that you have to import, which is weird instead of just having stuff built in. Unity's still weird. I still have a love-hate relationship with Unity, man.
Right.
It's Unity is being Unity, but yeah, I don't know. Unreal's still pretty dope. The engine.
Okay. I got you. We'll get into a little bit more of that later on here.
What about you, man? What you been up to? You been playing anything?
I from like Thursday till this morning. Actually, I've been sick, so I did did my usual deal. Played a little Warzone during the week. Played some Spelunky. Shout out Crab. We tore that game up. Did some co-op for that.
Nice.
And then I went to bed Thursday, man, and just didn't feel very well, so went to bed early, right? I had the day off, too, and was like, maybe, I was just outside too much, it was cold out, whatever. I was going through, like, doctor's appointments with the kids and whatnot, so, and then some of them got canceled, so it was just like, the day was a little shorter than I thought, but there was some driving, but not that big of a deal. Woke up Friday, just fucking felt miserable, and had to work. So, so I was working, felt miserable. I basically, like, the chair I'm in now, I tilted it all the way back, and in between like stuff I had to do for work, I was just laying down. It was rough.
Hey, man. Yeah. Did you think this is one of the drawbacks from like working from home is like you expect to work even like when you're like feeling like shit? Like if you had to like go to an office, you'd be like, I'm done.
It was my choice because one of my other coworkers was off, and we're a small team, and I figured. I figured if I was awake, I could do it, if I could stay awake. But there's been times where I've been too sick that I've called in and then they've understood. And vice versa. Like sometimes, like we have to talk on the phone as well. And if you can hear it in our voices, or like a lot of, like the big thing here is losing your voice, right?
Do you have a good sick voice?
No.
Like let me hear like a fake call-in sick voice, like if you had to call into work.
I don't think I can even do that, dude. I'm pretty terrible at it, but hey, I'm sick. See, no one's gonna believe it.
I think they believe
sick, dude. You can straight hear it. It's nasty. But a lot of times, like people who have to talk a lot will lose their voice, so that's always the fear. Because we not only do we do like some light programming and stuff, we work the support as well. So we'll have to like talk to clients and stuff, answer emails, things like that. So a lot of times if we start losing our voice, that actually impacts the bottom line for the company as a whole. So they're like, fucking just take the day. So
just take a a knee on this one, boys.
Yeah. So I tried to recover it, and I wanted to play games with the boys too. I was watching Shout Out Butters, who was streaming like most of the weekend. Honestly, it's like, hey, jump in, Gimp. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Then just the fast motion of the games, man, just wasn't. It wasn't there
it was
for
too
me,
much.
man. I was like, bleh. So, so I chilled and basically slept most of the weekend. Yesterday, the kids and the wife, we went out and saw Santa Claus. Santa's doing well. Still
nice.
Kicking it.
So you're trying to get him sick, dude? You're like rolling up, you're like sitting on his lap, coughing in his face.
Nah, I had the mask and all that shit, So
it's like, what do you want for Christmas? I was like, you're like, the cure for my disease, Santa. He's like, what the hell? Get off me, old man.
Nah, it was as respectful as I could be in that sense. Yeah. But
did you do your research on which Santa Claus you went to, man? Was there?
What do you mean?
I'm saying, did you go to a Black Santa Claus?
No, I didn't see.
I've
been a Black Santa before as well. Why?
I'm just asking, man.
I don't know.
I just want to know if there's like a preferred, Santa Claus for you.
No,
I'm on Asian Santa Claus,
bro. Why say that?
I'm saying my favorite Santa Claus is Asian Santa Claus. All right, I said it.
All right.
I'm just putting that out there, bro. Some people have preferred Santa Clauses. Just like there's like preferred Jesuses. Some people prefer Korean Jesus, dude. Some people like black Jesus. All right. It is what it is.
I don't know how to. We're gonna steer away from that. What the fuck?
There's nothing wrong with having a favorite, dude.
Nothing wrong.
Just like having a favorite, like skin in League of Legends, man.
Is that it? Is that comparable? Man. Oh my god. But other than that, it was a good time. But yeah, dude, I've been dead. Paragon's release was noticed by I think Butters and Crab right as I got sick. So I have it downloaded and installed, and I just haven't played it yet. I haven't felt, like myself until this morning. So, I haven't played it. I'm still going to play it. I told them all I would. I don't know if I'll like it or not, but when Paragon was first out, I really wanted to try it, but my computer wasn't good enough. I believe Crab streamed it before. He was pretty heavily into it.
Yeah, he loves Paragon.
I was like, damn, this looks good, fun as shit, dude. And he's like, yeah, it is. He's telling me all about it. I'm like, okay, this sounds really fucking awesome. So the fact that it's back, I'm like, okay, here we go. So shout out Crab. We'll definitely get some Paragon in. We have a shit ton of. We've been like, before I got sick, dude. There was a period of like 4 days in a row, of where every day I loaded into Warzone, we got at least one win.
Nice, man. Yeah.
So that streak was pretty nice, man. Like Warzone seemed to like stabled off a bit. Still has the bug where if there's too many airstrikes happening, it'll crash, and it crashes for random people. We got cost a game because I was sneaking up on a ridge behind two people that were attacking two buddies, and I'm behind him, I got him, and then I go to shoot and an airstrike goes off, and I'm like, fuck me. They're like, what? I was like, the game crashed. So they're like, dude, they're fucking your body up. I was like, yeah, I figured. But once I think that crash and the drone bug gets settled, I think the game will be in a good state. I think optimization wise, it definitely could use another pass, but Activision
it's still considered like beta, right? Beta.
I honestly don't know anymore. I thought it was, but I don't see the.
Is it free to play? Anywhere. What's going on?
It's free to play. It's free to play.
All right. So yeah,
it'll probably be in perpetual beta for life. They're like, yeah, it's not finished.
Okay, it's free though, so don't cry about it.
Right. But Warhammer Darktide as well. I streamed.
He's still playing. He's still enjoying it.
It was buggy as fuck.
So the highs were worth it, though.
The highs were worth it. The community, shout out Reddit, found out that RTX was enabled all the time, even if you turn it off in game. Some user
to go like an INI file or something.
100%. Some user found out in the INI file that. Some portions of the RTX stuff were still on, even if you turned it off, and no matter what card you have, whether your card supported RTX or not. So people on like fucking the 1080s and shit had RTX features on, which caused crashes, caused a bunch of shit. So I turned that shit off. The game runs great now.
That's crazy. You think they would patch that? Like, especially if like everyone knows it now. It's like, all right, yeah, just put out that 10 kilobit patch real quick and fix our game. But they're like, nah.
That's what they didn't do. Yeah. But finding the community thing was great. I streamed that. I had a fucking blast, dude. I started my tank, my Ogren, so I made him as tall as possible, just run it out. And being a tank in that game is ridiculous because your health is like probably 4 times the health of like the lowest health thing, which is a Psyker, just like the mage of the group or whatever. Absolutely incredible, dude. Like, you feel like a goddamn boss. And when you're rezzing people, if you get hit, the Ogren doesn't care because he's too damn big. He just brushes it off. He's like, fuck me, you only want to rezzing this dude. So it was some fun. It was some fun shit to be had, man. It's a very fun PvE game that definitely rewards teamwork. So I was having a blast with it. I would say if you're okay at this moment, if you want like a Left 4 Dead experience, I think it does the Left 4 Dead formula better than like something like Back 4 Blood, It's closer in like game feel to Left 4 Dead 2 than it is, and obviously if you played Vermintide and stuff, it's definitely closer to that with guns, with improved gunplay. But it's like Back 4 Blood didn't really grab me, and that's made by Turtle Rock, the people who fucking made the original Left 4 Dead. You think that they'd have the formula down, but something about Back 4 Blood just doesn't work, and I can't put my finger on it. But Warhammer Darktide scratches that itch and gets the feel correct. It might be like melee feedback, it might be like enemy feedback or something, but something.
You said it's definitely a feel.
It's definitely
it's within the juice.
Yeah,
you gotta figure it out.
It might be like characters as well, because Darktide's characters are a lot more fun, and Back 4 Blood's characters were forgettable as shit.
They try to make them like kind of like generic archetypes, I believe, right? They're like, oh, this is like the nerdy guy. This is the sassy lady.
Like in Left 4 Dead's original OG characters were iconic. You know what I mean? Like
they're kind of more those old horror movie tropes of like the old
instead of like gaming tropes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So shout out Darktide. If you guys don't mind doing a community patch or just waiting until an official patch comes out, it's fun. It's a fun PvE experience. That's all I gotta say, man. And it's not too expensive. $40. Not a big deal. And every game these days is broken as fuck anyway. So you know what you're getting into.
How dare you?
Another thing I wanted to talk about is the Game Awards. There's a little controversy. Elden Ring won Game of the Year, which I believe I said was probably going to happen, and they 100% deserve it.
It seems like a controversy to me, dude.
And it won. But what happened at the end was some dude got up at the end of the show and shouted out his Reformed Orthodox rabbi, Bill Clinton, and left. Dude got arrested. It was so strange. This dude gets this giant platform to say something, and he says nothing. It's like this big fucking... He's
That's
15,
the whole...
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it was just so strange, dude. Like, even, like
that's Gen Z in a nutshell.
Up there, too, and he like, went onto the stage with the Elden Ring guys. So, like, if people just assumed he was going to be up there, and then no one made mention of it, because, you'd think security would be in on this, but security did nothing, and then until he
you could see him in the background, like, starting to, like, swarm and get ready. They're, like, making, like, a pincer maneuver.
Yeah, but
they're ready, man. They had some moves.
You get to people before they get on stage, man. That's all. You know what I mean? Like people need to tighten up. They need to tighten up.
Tighten it up, boys.
But as far as like the big winners, I think all were pretty expected. Basically the two big winners of the night were Elden Ring and Ragnarok, for good reason. Both games are fucking bangers, and definitely
classic
heads and
shoulders
polish above the rest of the year. Truly, very easily.
I would just say they're like classic AAA titles, dude. There's nothing like outstanding about them, but because everybody else is putting all their shit out in like broken, buggy states, dude. Like it's like if you just release like a AAA polished game nowadays, like you're in the running for like Game of the Year at this point.
Either. It says nothing stands out about him.
Nothing.
All right. Oh my god, that's
generic and bland as they come, dude. Heard it here first.
Hating. But disregarding anything Chip said at that point. But
I'm just saying Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
You accidentally.
There's more than just a palette swap.
You accidentally hit it on the head.
Well.
They were two AAA games that felt like AAA releases. That's very true.
It's facts. So that new Death Stranding trailer drop there.
Yep.
I didn't play Death Stranding 1, man. You liked it, right? You said you're...
No, I didn't play it. It didn't appeal to me.
None of us play it?
No, it didn't appeal to me. It seemed very abstract and very... I don't want to say like a lot of walking with no like...
Calling it a walking
payoff, simulator,
bro?
But every video I saw of it, every review I've read of it was like the same screenshot of nothing happening, and Norman Reedus just walking. And I'm like, no thanks.
I had a friend
I'm sure the
game
was great. it just didn't appeal to me.
Yeah, my friend who played it loved it.
Mhm.
He said that there's a lot more to it than walking, and he says it's like the world building
sure.
was really good. He said he went through like half the game though, like avoiding like encounters with like enemies
Okay.
because they like built them up. But then he realized like you could fight them at that point, and like they weren't like that hard to beat. So he's like, "Oh, I've been this whole time terrified of these like monstrosities, and like you could just fight them this whole time." So he felt a little silly about that. But there's like a lot of it's more about like the story and world building, and there's a lot of like video game stuff in there. He said so.
Sure.
He said it was definitely worth trying, and I was like, I'll wait for it to go on sale, man. Like,
yeah, if it's on Christmas sale, I don't mind picking it up, but just on release, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what other games are out, and I'm like, I'm not going to play this. I have to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
At this point, especially when games becoming $70, which I want to get your opinion on. I feel that $10 price increase has, while it's not much in the short term, it does give me pause to just getting a game. I don't know why, but it does, right? Like, I didn't buy Modern Warfare 2 just on a whim because I'm like, $70, fuck that. That game's not worth $70. If it was 60, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not? But 70, I'm just like, yeah,
I feel
and
like it crosses, I feel, that mental threshold to where it's closer to $100, right?
Yeah.
So it's like as soon as like
you're $40 away, you're like, yeah,
it's like half $100. That's not too bad.
30?
Yeah, $30. I guess it's basically $100, dude. It's basically a Hondo.
Yeah,
you can do a lot with $100 these days, man. What the heck,
dude? I do like people like the industry has been reporting for a while that
you could buy a tablet with $100, bro. You get you a nice, Fire tablet with ads, dude, and download free games all day.
You're like 1/6 of the way there for a Steam Deck, dude. At that point, But so looking at
get a Chromebook, bro. A couple hundred.
So, honestly, man, like the industry itself has been saying, oh yeah, game prices need to raise to, for the rising costs of creating the game and whatever. Inflation's happening right now, obviously. The new next-gen consoles are going up in price by like $100 typically. And 70 just seems like a lot. Like, I remember when new releases
welcome to
were
inflation,
50,
bro.
right? I remember when like the 360 and shit came out and the games were 60. I'm like, what the fuck? I still remember that, and I'm like, okay, all right, I guess this is a standard now. But we all just kind of accepted it, even though we were just paying $50 for years. And now we're paying 70. It just, dude, are games going to end up being $100 a pop? Like, is that what we're headed to?
I mean, if you just like follow the standard inflation curve, they'll be like $100 in like 10 years, dude. Easy,
dude. At a certain point, like I feel for a long time, for the majority of games released, I am not getting my full $60 of value, right?
Sure.
Now with games releasing in a very buggy state, $70, if I didn't feel like I was getting my value at 60, I sure as hell aren't not getting value at $70. Like, for as much as I've been playing Warzone 2 lately, the fact that it's free and fun keeps me coming back. If I paid $70 for the game, I'd be pissed because it's still buggy as fuck.
I don't know, maybe been playing that Vermintide, bro. So
Darktide?
Yeah, Darktide.
Darktide was 40.
All right. So did you say that you're willing to put up with all the bugs if it's like, $40,
cheaper,
but not? Yeah.
Yep.
That's if that game was 70, like you'd be way more upset.
If you charge me AAA prices, I expect AAA polish.
You want the Elden Rings?
I don't think that's unfair. I think that, and I'm not saying I'm above this. I'm definitely a part of the problem, but gamers have been too complacent in accepting this. Like, we're getting unfinished games, we're getting bug ass messes, and people are still pre-ordering, people are still buying, people are still like, wait for a patch. That's just how it is now. It should not be how it is. It just shouldn't, dude. Fucking, and the only avenue we have, people are all like, oh, review bombing does nothing. It does nothing.
I don't know, man. That's fair.
It doesn't do dick. You maybe get a headline and then shit balances out. But if you vote with your wallet, if these games suck ass, return them. You know,
Yeah,
when you
just
start
bring them back.
when you start impacting the bottom line, shit starts changing. And I think that we as like consumers have to remember that, you know, um, like E.T. the game back released in the Atari sucked so much ass that they had so many copies that they had to just throw it in a fucking landfill by itself.
Yeah, man.
They couldn't give that shit away for free because people said no.
They don't know how to.
No.
Everyone
you
just is
know?
like, nah, son.
Can you imagine? Like the same thing happened with fucking Cyberpunk, right? That's the last
Yeah.
time people kind of voted with their wallets on the last gen consoles. People were like, "No, fucking return this shit. It doesn't work."
Yeah.
Like Microsoft and Sony had to, like, I think it was Sony had to literally code a way for them to refund shit on bottom of
Yeah.
the digital store because they didn't have it before. Like that game was so fucking buggy. It instituted change. It instituted a different return policy.
So you're saying we need a AAA game that's so busted at a $70 price tag that it forces the industry as a whole to change because of like legal. I feel like that
It won't change the price, but maybe it'll change the practice.
it seems like government bodies had to get involved, even like in Cyberpunk, where they're like, okay, the government has to be able to like issue a refund here. And that's when like Sony and Microsoft was like, oh yeah, we should probably do that. Even like Steam had to like institute stuff like that where they're doing some shady practices, and then they're like, oh yeah, legally you can't do that. And they're like, oh yeah, and then they like tried to spin it. It's like, we've always been in compliance with the law. Here you guys go. Like,
Well, you remember the old way to refund on Steam, right? You had to request a help ticket.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that they streamlined it was better. From what I understand, though, and I've never done it, but from what I understand, and I had friends who've done it, the help ticket system was you pretty much got your refund after 2 days because someone actually reviewed it. Like I said, I've never done it. If anyone in listening or in the comments or whatever has done it, I'd love to hear the story, good or bad. I truly just don't know, and I'm going off of what a buddy said. So, but
Have you tried to return like a game at a store?
not in years.
Yeah, I remember for a while they used to pull some bullshit with like, we don't take open software. So if you had the game open, they're like, we can't take this back.
Yeah.
So they did that for a long time, and I think
might
at some
still
point
be in effect. Actually,
you might not even be able to return these games to the store, dude. Except if you're in like Australia. I think Australia has better consumer
I think
protection
the UK
laws.
in general too. I
Yeah.
think it might just be a US or just Western society only.
It's a
thing.
buyer beware type of
Well,
situation.
because I mean, the original like thing with you can't return if it's opened was purely because of piracy. Like you could just burn the game and then
Yeah.
take it back.
Hop on the Jolly Roger
tail
boys.
end of PlayStation, I think, is when like locally my GameStop or EB Games at the time had that policy. They're like, it's open, we can't take it back. Like, what the fuck? Why? I played the game and sucked ass. Like, here you go. Take it back. This is the game. I want my money. Like, store credit, bro. Fuck you. But
Give you 50
they're
cents
like,
store credit.
You could just burn that game. I was like, well, my PlayStation isn't modded, dipshit.
You could.
You could do the swap trick. That shit was so fucking finicky. I'm not gonna do that. Fuck you.
Scratch the shit out this disc.
Yeah, right,
Trying to do that.
Let me just burn out my motor real quick. Whatever.
Pull a disc that's going 7,200 RPMs out real quick with my bare hand.
I got some problems with fucking GameStop. Just memories, dude. But yeah, man. I think there has to be just something we can do as consumers, man, to curb this.
I feel like we've been advocating that day one since our podcast. Where we're like, don't buy, loot boxes. Wait for reviews.
Yep.
Don't get games just because everybody else is getting it. If like it's not something you want. It's hard, man. It's hard to like go against like herd mentality. It's hard to go against like shiny marketing. Like,
especially if it's like all your friends buy the game and they're like, "Why don't you have it?" I get that. But
yeah, man, they spend lots of money on this, dude. It's like whatever they spend, like maybe like 60 million to make the game, they'll spend double that in advertisement. It's hard to like that shit works, dude. That's why they spend so much money on it. They're like, if they can move like a 400,000 more units by just like being like, you want this game, get this game, it's amazing, and then all your buddies are like, hey man, try this game. Like even if you don't, like a couple of your buddies start getting it, and then you're like, ah shit. I don't know. I had a few friends who finally told me that they like stopped buying games just because their buddies got them. Like no matter how cheap it was. He said there was like a game that was like on a Steam sale. It was like $2, and his friends were like, "Oh yeah, we're all getting this." He's like, "No." Like, he's like, "But it's only $2." He's like, He's like, "You guys aren't even going to be playing this after this weekend." No, this is basically me like just ripping in half $2, dude. Like, I'm not going to do it. And like, he's like, sure enough, like a day, like none of them were playing it. None of them even talked about it anymore. And he was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Never again." He's like, but it's hard to like be that one buddy who's like, "No, I'm not going to waste $2 on this bullshit, dude."
Yeah. I think your level of disposable income, matters as well. Like now for me with like a family and shit, I'm like, am I gonna play this? Nah, that's
$70, man. That's so close to 100, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of the school supplies you could buy with the $100, dude. You get like 3 backpacks with that money, dude.
Right.
You get a backpack, a new pair of shoes, dude, a baseball hat, dude.
My use case is a little different, for sure. But yeah, man, I think I just $70 is it's a shot, dude. It's a shot. Like
you get a pair of Nikes
for $70.
I don't know. What are the kids buying these days? How much are Nikes? $300?
It's like $120, dude.
Jeez, dude. Nikes be like charging, dude.
Yeah, dude. They fucking, you got to pay those sweatshoppers somehow.
They don't, dude. They just line their own pockets, bro. You got to pay like the celebrities, dude, to get the name brands on them.
I suppose. I need to.
Licensing deals.
New Air Maxes later on in the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean,
gotta endorse all these athletes, dude.
Herd mentality sometimes, bro. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I will say though, like, I don't like where the industry's going, man. Like in terms of like the AAA side, like AAA has to exist for indies to work as well. You know what I mean? It's like blockbuster releases in the film industry have to exist so indies can get made. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for our industry as well.
It definitely feels like we're hitting that 0 point where they're like imploding in on their own weight.
Yeah.
So that's going to lead to a lot of like indie and small game devs. It also seems like the tops don't really care because they want games to be a service anyway. So they're like, if we can get things more on mobile and more on like a streaming device, then that's all that we care about at this point. We want guaranteed money overall instead of like making impactful, meaningful pieces of art. Like we're just trying to release new product after new product. And they've been that way for a while. Like ever since like the Sequel City. But I've heard this, and maybe I've said before on the podcast, but somebody said that you can tell where the economy's going because it's like during a boom, that's when bigger industries are willing to take more risk, and during like a bust, that's when they like tend to do more sequels or like known variables and stuff for like guaranteed money. They want that easy guaranteed money.
Shit. Yeah.
Instead of like taking risks, so they become more risk averse when there's a tightening of the economy. I heard that argument with the movies. That's what the context of it was. So it was like, how come all these movies are just kind of like hot garbage? And they're like, because they're just, making the most generic, bland bullshit that they know they can make safe bets. Yeah, they're just doing safe bets.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's some rare good insight. Rare. I'm fucking with you. Some good insight, Chip. I think we're gonna end it on that one. Just it's a good food for thought there.
Again, man, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Some people say they're just a palette swap. I'm just saying some people have different preferences for the color that they want. Some people like Reptile. It's completely different mechanics, dude.
And for the Combo Alma podcast, I'm Mr. Gimpy.
Chipmunk.
We out of here. See you later.